Sean Diddy Combs. For decades, that name meant, well, unbridled success, didn't it? Cultural power.
Absolutely. His bad boy records empire, those billion-dollar deals, it all built this legacy that honestly seemed completely impenetrable, untouchable.
But what happens when that fortress, that seemingly solid structure, actually starts to crumble?
Well, that's what we're diving into. For years, the story of Diddy's rise, from basically nothing to this cultural monarch, it was compelling. We all kind of bought into that myth of grit and just endless success.
Right.
But now we're faced with a really starkly different truth. This deep dive, it's our mission today, to peel back the layers of this whole saga, decades worth of stuff.
From whispers, really unsettling whispers, to these just shocking courtroom revelations.
Exactly. We're unpacking the timeline, the sex crime allegations, the arrests, and of course the recent verdict that just sent shockwaves everywhere, especially through the entertainment world. It reveals this dark underbelly, power, unchecked ambition.
And the sources we're drawing on, well, there are comprehensive timelines, particularly from People magazine, but also these gut-wrenching first-hand accounts from YouTube interviews that are just, wow.
Yeah.
So the core paradox we're wrestling with is this. What happens when the hero of the story, the person everyone looked up to, is maybe revealed as the villain all along?
It's a tough question. This is the story of Sean Combs, a man who climbed to these unimaginable heights only to see it all potentially come crashing down, piece by painful piece.
So let's start at the beginning. Sean John Combs, born November 4, 1969, in Harlem, New York.
Yeah, in his early life, it's complex. His father, involved with drug dealers, was murdered when Diddy was only 3. And there are reports, unsettling ones, about his mother Janice's alleged escort work happening at home.
Which raises that really uncomfortable question. Is this where the idea, maybe subconsciously, of these later alleged freak-offs even started?
It's impossible to say for sure, obviously, but it paints this chilling, maybe speculative lens to look through when you consider the origins of everything that came later. It highlights that interplay between early experiences and later behavior. It's crucial, even if it's uncomfortable, to understanding the whole saga.
And even his nickname, Puffy, from high school, puffing out his chest to seem bigger. That swagger was there early on.
It seems so. Then dropping out of Howard University, interning at Uptown Records, rising fast, and then boom, 1993, he founds Bad Boy Records.
And his vision was clear, wasn't it? Not just hits. He wanted to make history, go against the grain.
Oh, absolutely, and he did. Bad Boy wasn't just a label, it felt like a revolution back then. You had the notorious B.I.G. alongside him, reshaping hip-hop, hits like Juicy, Big Papa.
Classics.
Total classics. And Diddy wasn't just sticking to music, he expanded into fashion, liquor, television. He really evolved from a mogul into, well, a monarch, like royalty.
But as you said, beneath this gleaming surface, these first cracks, they were already starting to appear, weren't they, way back?
Yeah, the legal troubles, the allegations, they trace back over 30 years. To 1991, incredibly. According to a lawsuit filed just last November, in 2023, Combs and the R&B singer Aaron Hall allegedly sexually assaulted an unnamed victim and her friend after some music event, and then reportedly beat them days later.
And that wasn't all from 91.
No. Joy Dickerson-Neal, she was just 19, a college student then. She filed a lawsuit claiming Combs drugged her, sexually assaulted her, and videotaped it after a date.
And the videotaping part is key, right? The revenge porn allegation.
Crucial. She alleged he shared that explicit footage within the music industry. Dickerson-Neal described, severe pelvic pain, withdrawing completely, struggling with flashbacks, insomnia, depression. She eventually dropped out of school.
Her lawsuit lays out this harrowing story. People who apparently saw the tapes were too scared to defy Diddy. His influence was already growing. Bad Boy was taking off.
Exactly. And the pattern allegedly continued. Lorianne Lampros, in a lawsuit from 1995, she claimed Combs forced himself on her, and then later allegedly forced Kim Porter, his girlfriend at the time, to have sex with Lampros before him.
Lampros also claimed Combs recorded their sexual encounters and tried to distribute the footage. It's a recurring theme, this alleged recording.
It is. And his reputation for, let's say, living beyond the bounds of the law, it was being solidified by actual arrests and controversies, too.
Like in 96, found guilty of criminal mischief, threatening a New York Post photographer with a gun.
Then, 1997, the awful murder of the notorious B.I.G. an event that, well, many believe was somehow connected to the storm gathering around P. Diddy.
And 1999 was a big year for trouble, too.
It really was. Multiple arrests. Charged with felonies for beating the record executive Steve Stout. Apparently that was settled with an apology and $500,000.
Right. And just months later, that infamous nightclub shooting in New York. He was with Jennifer Lopez, rapper Shine. A bystander got hit in the nose.
And while he was acquitted on the main weapons charge in that case, these incidents, they just cemented this image of someone operating outside the normal rules.
It's clear that while the world was celebrating his rise, these shadows were definitely gathering. Quietly, maybe, but widening those cracks in that public image he'd built so carefully.
And then what started to leak out? Well, it changed everything. By 1998, you have his lifestyle escalating with these now infamous Hampton all-white parties.
Ah, yes, the all-white parties. Very exclusive, attracting the absolute who's who entertainment business.
Yeah.
They really symbolized his status, didn't they? A world where, ordinary rules just didn't seem to apply.
Exactly. And these parties, these gatherings, they later became identified in federal indictments as the alleged freak-offs. They became the symbol of, well, unchecked power and indulgence.
Which brings us to some really disturbing firsthand accounts. Tania's YouTube interview. It offers this harrowing glimpse into what allegedly went on behind those closed doors.
It really does. She described being invited to one of Diddy's, quote, wild parties. She met this guy, an Arabian prince, in L.A., and he promised her a surprise.
And the buildup sounds deceptive. The prince making these grand promises like, your life is never going to be the same. Somebody's expressing you.
Yeah, leading Tanea to think it was a genuine music networking opportunity. But when she gets there, Star Island, South Beach, red flags immediately.
Strict security, right. Phones sealed in bubble cases, couldn't unlock them till you left. Photos only allowed in one specific Team Love photo booth. Total control.
Total control. Tania described this scene inside. Chaotic. Almost surreal. It's 7 a.m., loud, woozy house music, naked people skinny dipping in the pool, waitresses just pushing mimosas constantly.
And the entry was selective.
Very selective. Apparently, Diddy's son was, recruiting certain people to go into the main house. Tania got these terry cloth robe shoes to go inside, but her friend explicitly denied entry.
Wow, okay, so inside the house.
Yeah.
This is where her account gets even darker.
Much darker. She vividly described seeing, and I quote, stuff that you see on the movies. Sex, orgies, people just laid out.
And the Hirajuku Barbies.
Yeah.
That detail is so bizarre.
Isn't it? Little people dressed up, red lipstick.
Yeah.
She said it created this fetish atmosphere, made her wonder if it was all some kind of production. She also mentioned seeing Instagram models and a whole bunch of famous people. She named 4 specifically.
And Diddy himself. His presence, his behavior.
Equally disturbing, according to Tanea. She claimed he was acting intimately, real sexual with the prince, supposedly positioned so that we could see and so that we can get turned on.
Okay.
She described him as obnoxious, acting like the king of the world. He apparently confronted her directly, asking, why are you not in the house and are you enjoying my house? And even asked about her joining them on a trip to Cuba.
And then that moment with his then girlfriend, he just pushed her.
That's what Tanea alleged. She approached him and he just pushed her. Tanea also recalled him saying about her, that's the one that I want, I want her. It made her feel plotted on.
Chilling. She described his gaze too, right? Like he was undressing her with his eyes.
Yeah, she said it felt like a demon, a dark spirit, possessing you. A feeling of intense power and control.
Understandably, that set off major alarms for her.
Huge alarms. She realized she was trapped, didn't want any part of it. She said she knew the devil when I see it. She literally felt she was being sex-trafficked or, drugged or something like that.
And her escape was dramatic. She called the police.
Called the police to get out, left the prince, caught a taxi straight to the airport, still wearing those terry cloth robe shoes they gave her.
The aftermath for her sounds profound. Lasting trauma, giving up on music.
Yeah, she felt like she was being peddled off to someone powerful. And while maybe initially there was a strange sense of being honored to be chosen, that flipped fast. She didn't want to end up in a ditch somewhere.
And now, with everything coming out, she feels vindicated.
Completely. Her story, which might have seemed unbelievable before, suddenly fits into this larger, disturbing pattern. Tanea's account isn't just one incident. It's this stark example of how absolute power can create these isolated, controlled spaces where vulnerability is just exploited. And escape is this desperate, life-altering act.
It really forces you to confront the hidden realities behind those celebrity facades.
Definitely. And with stories like Tania's finally surfacing, the silence around Diddy's alleged conduct, it really began to shatter.
Which leads us to November 2023, the bombshell. Cassie Ventura, his ex-girlfriend, files that lawsuit.
Huge, accusing him of rape, sex trafficking, over a decade of abuse, including a specific 2018 rape allegation after she tried to leave him.
What's really striking, though, is how fast it resolved. Settled to their mutual satisfaction literally the next day.
Incredibly fast. But the statements from the lawyers afterwards, they told a different story, didn't they? Diddy's lawyer claiming blackmail, Cassie's attorney saying Diddy offered 8 figures to silence her. That conflict spoke volumes.
And that quick settlement, it almost seemed to open the floodgates.
It really did. Late 2023, early 2024, suddenly there's this cascade of more lawsuits, more public accusations. Rodney Lil Rod Jones, a former producer, accused Diddy of sexual harassment, drugging, threats.
Dawn Richard from Danity Kane alleged nearly 10 years of sexual and verbal abuse and said she witnessed Diddy physically assault multiple women, including Cassie.
Right. And amidst all this, Diddy temporarily steps aside as chairman of Revolt TV, the network he co-founded. The pressure was clearly mounting.
But the real turning point, the thing nobody could ignore, was the video, wasn't it? May 2024.
The CNN surveillance video. Absolutely undeniable. Gut-wrenching footage showing Diddy grabbing, shoving, kicking Cassie Ventura during that 2016 altercation in a hotel hallway.
And Cassie herself confirmed this happened when she was trying to escape one of the alleged freak-offs.
That video, it just confirmed the disturbing predatory behavior that people had been alleging for so long. It made it concrete, undeniable for so many.
And then the official arm of the law moved in. March 2024, Homeland Security raids.
Yep, raiding his properties in LA and Miami, part of an ongoing investigation specifically citing sex trafficking allegations.
Then September 2024, the indictment and arrest in New York City.
The charges finally unsealed: sex trafficking, racketeering, transportation to engage in prostitution. And during those earlier raids, remember, authorities found something specific.
The 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant.
Exactly, which wasn't just sensational detail. It painted this chilling picture, suggesting maybe a systematic approach to these alleged freak-offs, not just random occurrences like supplies for an operation.
Diddy, though, publicly denied everything. Vehemently.
He did put out statements saying enough is enough, calling the allegations sickening from people looking for a quick payday. He insisted, "I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth."
So the stage was set for this huge courtroom confrontation. The trial kicked off May 12, 2025 in Manhattan. His family was there.
And the prosecution laid out their plan, calling key witnesses. Cassie Ventura, obviously. Also a woman identified only as Jane, who alleged Diddy forced her into freak-offs. And Mia, his former personal assistant, alleging sexual assault.
Cassie's testimony started the next day, May 13th.
Yeah.
Lasted 4 days.
Yeah, and they showed that assault video again to the jury. Cassie testified, Diddy controlled a lot of my life, forced her into sex, forced her into degrading acts with other men, which she alleged he recorded again, that theme, as blackmail materials.
So after all that testimony, the jury started deliberating on July 1st, 2025.
And the next morning, July 2nd, they came back with the verdict.
Sean Diddy Combs was found not guilty of the most serious charges, sex trafficking and racketeering.
Right, but he was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution.
Which still carries a potentially heavy sentence, up to 20 years in prison.
Exactly. So what does this all mean? I mean, the shift in his public image, it's just staggering. From this untouchable icon to now a convicted man.
It's such a stark reminder, isn't it? Sometimes the king forgets he's human. And the empire, built on so much ambition, just cracked under the weight of its own secrets, its own unchecked power.
Yeah, and even though there's a verdict on these specific charges, there are still these profound questions lingering, you know? For the music industry, for other survivors whose stories might still be out there, and just broader questions about power, celebrity, accountability.
Absolutely. This deep dive into the whole unraveling of Sean Diddy Combs, it really leaves us with this final chilling thought, doesn't it? How many more untold stories, maybe like Tania's, still exist behind those velvet ropes of fame?
And what does it actually take? What does it really take for those hidden dark truths to finally crawl out into the light?